So we are on a four-game unbeaten streak right now, having won our last two, including this past Friday. Come from behind win against Auburn with really a really good performance by the team across the board. Another great job by our promotions people. It was a super night as far as crowd. Another full house. We had about 200 and some odd former players and their families that were back for our reunion weekend. We do reunion weekends every 5 years. So this is being my 30th year since starting the program. We've had several of these, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So personally, really gratifying to see that many women taking such pride in what the program is about. Bringing their kids back is always really special for myself and for Phil and for Kurt and the rest of the people who have been with us for so long. And it made it doubly special because we won the game on Friday night and won it in dramatic fashion. Tied 1-1 early in the second half, and then with about 4 minutes left to go in the game, Miley Hayes, who's the reigning offensive player of the week in the SEC, scores her second goal of the game, and then in the waning seconds of the game, we're able to tuck away another one on a goal that started with Hayes over to Mia Pante, another sophomore, played to Carissa Beckman, another sophomore, who juked the goalkeeper and put the ball into the open net. So really a team is playing really well, feeling good about ourselves. We have a really difficult week coming up, probably our biggest week of the season, going to South Carolina on Thursday. South Carolina has been ranked as high as number 4 in the country. One of the teams that is really, really well organized. They don't give up goals. They're very, very dangerous in attack, and they're very, very good at home. They don't lose at home very often. So that'll be a big challenge for us. And then we come back on Sunday with a game against Missouri, who is tied with us right now in the SEC standings. So that becomes also a must-win game for us, and that'll be senior day for us. So we'll have our 5 seniors will all be looked at and celebrated for that one in what will be our last home game of the regular season. So go ahead and open up to any questions.
Let's start over on your left with Zach Taylor.
Gee, this recent unbeaten streak, can you put your finger on exactly what's been going right for you that had not been going right earlier on?
Well, our young team is growing up. I mean, we are the youngest team, by far, the youngest team in the SEC. We're starting 8 underclassmen in our starting 11. And you can see the maturation of them, the development of them, the understanding of not just the impact of what every game means, but just the little idiosyncrasies of why we give up goals and why we were kind of limiting ourselves in our chances. So I think a big part of it is having Beckman and Becerra both in the same lineup instead of alternating them in the midfield. Our wide players are really special. Kate Colvin with 2 assists on Friday night. Mia Pante, who's an international star. And then, as much as anything, our defense has become very, very stingy in what we've given up. I mean, we've given up a penalty kick against LSU that made it a tie, gave up a penalty kick against Ole Miss, which put them back in the lead. That we had to come out and score late to win that one. But other than that, I mean, it's been really, really difficult to score against us. Kenneth Caldwell has been playing awesome, as have the others. And now we have Carolyn Calzada back. She missed about 4 games due to an injury, but having her back on the back line obviously increases our pace, but also just our abilities. And it gives us flexibility because Macy Matula, who was in her role, Macy can play on the back line and she can play in the midfield, which gives us a little bit more depth, which is, all of those things add up to the little differences that it took for us to be a team that was just kind of searching to find ourselves to a team now that's really playing with confidence.
Let's go right side front to Travis and then Kay.
With where you are right on the line, is it basically postseason starts right now to get into the SEC tournament and move on?
Pretty much. Our RPI, our national RPI, is very strong. I think we're in the top 30 in the RPI. So, if the NCAA tournament was to start this week, we would be in the NCAA tournament as one of the seeded teams. But the first thing is, we got off to a slow start. We had a great start in our non-conference season. We're undefeated. We get into now the SEC, and we got off to a slow start, losing our first 4 games. So now that's where we're trying to play catch up. At the moment, we're tied with Auburn and with Missouri at 7 points. Typically, it's going to take 10 to 11 points to get into the SEC tournament. So with 3 games left, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, we need to get results in these 3 games. Again, South Carolina is a big challenge. Missouri is a huge game because we're tied with them. So it's important that we get a result against them to help our head-to-head in case of any kind of tiebreaker later on. And so, yeah, I mean, you could look at it as, the players have been looking at this for ever since we went, since we started October against LSU, that, hey, we need to win. We need points immediately, and we need them tonight. And that's the way we're going to have to go into all these games.
You kind of mentioned it with the players growing up. Do you feel like this is a different team at this portion of the season than the one that started conference play?
I think so. I mean, it's it's the same cast of characters. It's just a cast of characters that the light switch has turned on a little bit more. Understanding situational issues of what's going on in games, what happens in this situation. Whereas, when you're going through these things for the first time, your learning curve is absolutely vertical. So being able to kind of lower that curve just a little bit and make it to where now they're playing with the understanding of the experiences that they've already gained, and also of the information that we're providing them on our opponents and what's going on in their environment. For us, the biggest thing is, we can only play South Carolina this week. We've got to focus on I know it sounds coach speak, but we've got to just focus on that particular game and making sure that we take advantage of anything that we get against them. Because I know for the last time we went there was probably 2019. And in that particular year, I think they hadn't lost a game in like 35 home games, and we were able to beat them on individual brilliant play by Ali Watt at the time. And they just don't lose many. They're very, very stingy. They're really organized, really, really well coached. So if we're gonna get a result on this one, it's gonna be earned.
Let's go to Kay from Texags on the right.
Can you just talk about your seniors and the contributions that they've made to your program this year?
Sure. So our seniors are a minority in our team. There's not that many seniors on the team. You can start in goal with Kenneth Caldwell, who actually will come back for another year next year. The growth that she's had since being a freshman and coming in as our number 3 goalkeeper to having kind of nailed down the position for the last couple seasons is really fantastic. And to see where she is, she made some big saves on Friday night to keep the game close and eventually to win the game. Our 2 captains, Carlina Sample, who this past year was, NCAA and all kinds of national organizations are, naming her as the Woman of the Year in college sports. She's pretty special. She's a leader. She started the organization called Blueprint here on campus, and she's a natural leader amongst our players. So they follow. Carlina speaks, they listen, and things get done. And she's also, the former SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So she's been hugely instrumental in us winning championships in her career, but also in what she's been able to help us do this year. Katie Smith, who is arguably our best defender, great athlete, great person, great example of everything that we want out of our players, has been tremendous. Jai Smith, who transferred into us from Seton Hall, is one of the hardest workers ever. She's a great role model for all of our players. And then Natalie Yu is also someone who transferred in from Indiana. She's a Texan, grew up in Austin, was very influential with all the teams that she's been on, and she's someone who really has been influential in helping her, but also everyone around her to get better. So it really is it's a super group, and it's one that, it's college sports, so you're gonna graduate these kids. The cool thing is, these guys are graduating. So Natalie's going to graduate this summer. our other senior who hasn't been able to play in a while is Allie Russell. She's, has already graduated. Carlina has already graduated. Katie Smith is graduating. They're great on the field. They're great off the field. I can't say enough great things about these guys.
Let's go back to TV Row to Tyler on the left.
G, with how important these last few regular season games are, I mean, do you feel like your team is progressing and peaking kind of at the right time?
Knock on wood. I hope that we're peaking at the right time. We've definitely been playing well. You can see the confidence in the team. You can see when they win how much it means to them, and how much each of them mean to each other. Just the chemistry amongst the team and in the locker room, and really it goes off of the field to just the way that they live. Give you an example. This past weekend was Lainey Carroll's birthday. So in a lot of times, people will send a text or something like that to your teammate. Well, it was a team event to go out and spend time with Lainey and the girls. That's just what they mean to each other. That they really care about each other. So when you've got that chemistry, the leadership is coming from within the group. We can steer the ship a little bit, but they're the ones that are at the oars and are really making things happen. So I feel really good about the direction we're going. We're not. This time last year, we were kind of spinning in that we were dealing with so many injuries. We're dealing with injuries right now too, but just the maturity of the team is so much greater right now.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Justin in the back on the right.
G, just a little bit on Miley Hayes, just kind of the role she's on right now and finding the back of the net for you guys. What does that do? When one player seems to be kind of not carrying the load, you have a lot of people, but when she's scoring like that, how does that help the offense?
Well, if I had to rank people as far as the most important people to be playing with confidence, our striker is the most important person, and that is who Miley is. She's somebody that works incredibly hard. I mean, nobody works harder than she. This is a hardworking team, and nobody works harder than she is. And she's become a real student of the game, and that she really focuses on what she can do with her own work, but also she talks a lot with the people who are around her to make sure that they are pulling their weight. And now she scored 4 goals in the last 3 games. She's had important assists. She's bringing other people into the game. So it's not like she's just standing around the goal and just poaching goals. She's putting a lot of work in that is setting up other people as well. So it couldn't happen to a better person. I'm really excited when you see that hard work pay off. And for her, I mean, she's such a stalwart in what we do in our training and how we look at the way we want to play the game. That she's that confidence on her. It kind of bleeds over to the rest of the team.
All right, that's a wrap.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.